Hello there, and welcome back after a very long break to Outriders Gaming and Nick's YouTube Battle Reports. I know it's been quite a while now between any kind of content on this channel. That is mainly because I haven't done a lot of tournaments in September, as in none. And to be honest, I just got a bit bored with the UK tournament scene, which is I just played the same armies over and over again, same sort of comp. And yeah, I just got a bit burnt out really. So recently, my local gaming club, the Brighton Warlords, have started a Warhammer League. It's just 10 of us in it, sort of round robin, playing everyone twice and see who the overall winner is. It's going to take quite a while, but I'm looking forward to it. We're using the Swedish comp, which has been discussed on a few podcasts and various other channels recently. Quick lowdown. It's basically your army gets a comp score between between potentially probably 30 and 0, I suppose. Depending on what you've picked in it, you're allowed to take anything you want, but then you just get a overall comp score for it. For this league, we've decided to use our armies can have a minimum comp score of 2 and a highest comp score of 10. You're perfectly in your own right to get, bring an army with a comp score of 14, but we'll only count it as a comp score of 10 to stop things getting too ridiculous. And what happens is, at the end of every game, we're playing a 20-0 system, and you just add your comp score onto it. So between 2 and 10, your minimum score for a game will be 2, and your maximum score, I suppose, will be 30. So that's how we're playing it. So I've decided to play this league with my Wood Elves. From game to game, the lists are allowed to change, but only by a margin of 500 points out of 2,500, which is the level that we're playing at. And you're not allowed to change what character your general is. So I'm taking my Wood Elves, so my general started off being a Wood Elf Highborn, so my general always has to be a Wood Elf Highborn, so I always have to have a Wood Elf Highborn in the army, which might not seem like a big difficulty, but actually it can be quite tricky. And more importantly, you can't change your core choices from game to game, as in literally you cannot change what's in your core, which for me, seeing as pretty much all my decent choices are core or rare, I haven't given myself much to work with really, but never mind, I'm used to this list and it's working quite well. So we're going to jump into my third game this league. The first two I kind of wasn't really sure if I wanted to keep doing mail reports, didn't really take pictures. I lost both against a Skaven army and against a Dwarf army. So here we are, this is last week, playing against Donatas and his Dark Elves. Now first up, he doesn't play a lot of competitive Warhammer, let's say, so don't be surprised if his list is not exactly what you'd call a competitive or optimized Dark Elf list. And also, this is at the Brighton Warlords club, where if you've seen any of my previous battle reports done there, or from Mr. Richards, TMA Richards, the lighting there is incredibly poor, so just bear with the pictures. So, this is after deployment, and let's have a look at what he's got in his army. So on his far right, my far left, he has a small unit, 5 of Cold One Knights. In there he has his general, a Lord on Cold One, just a bit of loadout, we'll go through that, and a level 2 on Dark Magic, who ended up with Chillwind, Doombolt and Black Horror. He had the item for an extra spell. Then a big unit of 10 Cold One Knights, 30-ish Spearmen, 25 I think, or 20 Corsairs, a BSB on a Chariot, then 3 Bolt Throwers, 5 Harpies, and on his far left a unit of 20-ish, I think, crossbows with a level 2 on Law of Fire. So like I said, a bit different. So my deployment, going from right to left, I have my 12 Glade Guard with Musician, then another 12, I'm sorry you can't see the centre of the picture, a unit of 12 Glade Guard Musician with with a level 2 in there, on Law of Athel Lauren, yes. I didn't really, I'll go through this at the end, but I'm giving this one a go, mainly so I can fit the Dispel Scroll and the Wand of the Witch Helm in. Basically, at the weekend, I went to a tournament in Cardiff where I took a highborn on dragon and 3 flying heroes, a wood elf RAF and no magic, and just basically the heroes on eagles just don't do enough for their points. And again, because I was limited by what I'd taken at the start of the league, I just took out a hero on eagle, put in the level 2, changed around my items a bit, and hope for the best. Behind them we have a tree man, then my BSB in the middle there with my BSB on eagle, he's staying in. Unit of 12 Glade Guard with a level 4 in life with the Wand of the Witch Elm and the teleporting stone. In front of them, Glade Riders. On the left of the picture, a unit of 18 Glade Guard with full command flaming banner, and a treeman behind them. This is something that I've just started playing with a lot more. Instead of being aggressive and splitting my deployment, trying to be clever, I'm just going for a bit more of a gunline thing. I push forward, keep a nice crescent going with my Glade Guard, flee through the treeman or countercharge with the treeman, give them a threat, and see how things goes, really. I found that this is actually working a lot more, and it helps me focus my fire a bit more. Having said that, I do have a unit out on the far right, and they're basically there to march up and take that building, and there's another building in the centre of the board which I want to take on turn 1 if I get it. And on my far left there, I just have another unit of Glade Riders, just an extra threat. Oh, and an eagle. I know, unpainted, very bad of me. So he gets first turn and pushes forward with everything. Just push, 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 push. Magic, I can't remember if it does much. So there we go, that's his left hand phase. Magic, he gets Black Horror off on my Glade Riders. So I need to take a strength test or take a wound. And I passed all 5, which was nice. But then he gets another spell off on them and just obliterates them down to 1 model. I don't know, I think I fluffed a dispel attempt here. Oh no, I think it was just a ruby ring which I let through, and he was able to just pull off. So there we go. So in my turn, some shooting, he takes off a couple of Glade Guards. So there we go. In my turn, I shuffle, I bring my, I fly my eagle, if you can see the top of the picture there, between his units to cause some march blocks, and try and march block him, and to try and bring, because his BSB is way out of those 2 units, and also then that he's in a good position to just stay out of the way and just come back and do some blocking. So the unit in the middle is now in that building in the centre. My tree man's kind of hiding behind it from the bolt throwers, ready to countercharge anything. My middle unit with my level 4s, my biggest unit is pushed up to try and shoot some stuff, and the unit on the far right has marched towards the building. Now I did tell him at the start of the move, the thing that my level 2 had the 18-inch strength, D6 strength 4 magic missile from the Law of Athlon, but it's actually strength 5 if you're doing 6 inches of a wood. And I did tell him this and reminded him, but he let me get it off on his BSB, and I chipped a couple of wounds off the chariot, which was nice. And I actually managed to dwellers off half his unit of Cold One Knight, so, you know, dweller skills, woo woo, because I was good at Warhammer. And shooting face, I just unload into the Corsairs and take off a load of them as well. Very blurry picture of the overall battlefield here. So this is his turn 2, he's just pushed up with the knights again. He's just very wary of over-engaging, of you know, long bomb charges. There you go. Oh, in my phase also moved the wood so that his chariot was going to have to go through it if he wanted to charge anything. So being very wary of overcommitting, just nudging his stuff forward. Here we go. I think in his shooting phase, after shooting phase, he's just focusing fire on the unit in the building. You know, I don't really care what they're doing. They've been trying to chip away some wounds at the bolt throwers, not really doing much. I'm happy if he's firing at them. He's not firing at my my bigger units that are there to take out the more immediate threats. So here you see I've pushed up the tree man to try and block his chariot getting in, and try and get some strangle roots off, which I fluff. Loads of misfires, and he'd put his harpies in the building on the far right, and I just charged in with my 10 Glade Guard. This is after some shooting on the Corsairs, not many of them left, and there we go, strangle root them off. I think they charged something, just die, so that's fun. So yeah, this is his turn. He's charged his BSB into my treeman. I apologise if this isn't an extremely accurate blow by blow, but it gives you an overall picture of what's going on in this battle. And he charges the treeman, the other treeman, with his Cold One Knights. My BSB is within 12 of both, so I mean I should be fine. So that's that battlefield. Oh, and on the far left, I had blocked his other unit with his characters off with my eagle, a noble sacrifice again for the great eagle. At this point, my Glade Guard had taken a building off the Harpies, but he has shot off between the bolt throwers and his ballistic skill shooting. He had taken off the unit in the other building with my level 2 in it, but never mind. She'd chipped a couple of wounds off, used her Dispel Scroll, so I mean she'd done her job. That's the 150 points that she's there for. And now we've just got a bit of a shooting battle going on between the unit in the building and his crossbows, which I did manage to make flee a couple of times, which was nice. I shot off a load of my archers. Shoot off a load of the spearmen. And in the combat, it takes me a couple of rounds, but the treeman does take off the Cold One Knights eventually, and the treeman on the right against the BSB, correct me if I'm wrong, it does say chariots follow the rules for ridden monsters, so all my treeman did is, again, it took him one more round than he really should have, but he punched the chariot out from underneath the BSB and then thunderstomped his head in, which I think I'm allowed to do. Oh, that's how I read it anyway. So there we go. Both treemen have killed off their enemies and now facing in case he does want to get in with his spearmen. But the problem, so what his issue is here, and you can tell he's put his general far out on his other flank, which I was just able to chaff up and leave there for a while. You know, with the building and him having to go around it. And then his BSB on a chariot, which I was able to take out, which was just a bit silly. So what he does, he tries to charge my big unit with 2 characters in with his unit of spearmen. I stand and shoot. I'm in short range. I do enough casualties to cause a panic check, which he fails. So boom, his spearmen are running away. And in my next turn, my BSB declares a charge on them and catches them at the top of that building, at the top of this picture. So my other units, my treeman has come around to sort of block off his unit of cold ones, get a strangle route in, and my big unit has turned and faced so that they can shoot this turn and get a stand and shoot in. So there's the top of the picture. My other treeman's just charging up, trying to get to his bolt throwers in time, which he just won't be able to do. Between my shooting and strangle routes, yep, this is what I do on the unit. So I think that's the strangle route, and then mass ballistic skill shooting. Problem is, I've got my lord in there, so my general has the Burbler and Arcane Bodkins, but he was actually quite smart about this. His level 2 in there had the 4-up ward save and no armour. So because it's all shooting boom, 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 boom at the same time, he just always put the armour-piercing shots, well, the no-armour shots on his mage, which I thought was quite clever. But under sheer volume, it did eventually just die. And then he goes. So unfortunately there, he's no longer blocked off by the tree man. And what happens here, I was just greedy. I didn't take any real pictures. He charges into the big unit with his lord, who survives stand and shoot. Or I believe this could be, actually that could be what's left after the stand and shoot. So his lord gets in, I challenge with the champion, I'm steadfast, whoop-de-whoop, I hang around, and in the last phase of the game, I decide he's not re-rolling anymore, we've got the same weapon skill. I don't know why I thought I'd do this. He didn't issue a challenge, I issued one with my lord, who's just naked in his pants, figuring, there we go, but he has a sort of plus D3 attacks, hits with loads of them, and just kills off my general for 350 free VPs, which I didn't need to give him in any way, shape, or form. I just wanted to see what would happen. Because to be honest, I knew at this point that I had, you know, I knew basically from turn 2 that I had the game. But I just wanted to see what would happen. But there we go. So the game ended up in a 19-1. His comp score came in at 10. Well, actually it was supposed to be 13. But because we'd set the upper limit to avoid, you know, people just taking a list with a soft score of 20 and running away with the tournament without having to do anything, we capped it at 10. So his comp score was 10, mine comes in at 9, with the new Swedish comp, which hopefully I will link in this video. And there we go. So there we are, 19-1 with a nice return to normality for my Wood Elves after a weekend, like I said, of playing with no magic or dragon and an RAF style list. Don't try it, it doesn't work. I got a couple of 20 0s, very polar list. You'll either get taken off or you'll take someone off, but fun. So there we go, a nice and boring double treatment, stand and shoot Wood Elf battle report for you. See you soon for my next game.